Well, we're going to kick this thing off with our first speaker. I am super happy to get to introduce this guy. He is a 26-year vet of the Medicare industry. He started his career as a sales agent, but since then has held executive positions with the likes of United Healthcare, Cigna, Care Improvement Plus. He's well known as a speaker, a strategist, a storyteller, and he's very sought after as a speaker, a coach, and trainer. And he's consulted and inspired and instructed thousands of agents over his career. He's authored 7 books, one of which is sitting on your table today, Sales Crumbs. He was recently named CEO of Senior Market Advisors, and he is all the way from McDonough, Georgia. Please welcome the most eloquent and poetic Brandon Clay.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Who's that good-looking guy on the screen? I didn't even know who that was until I took a double look. Well, number one, happy Friday, good morning, and so excited to be here. And I'm a little bit of a pacer, so hopefully for those of you that are online virtually, you can keep up. And for those of you that are here live, just excited to be able to get some things to you. And it's funny, Justin, as you're talking about inspiration and instruction, and let's see if we've got the first screen here. I'll go back one, actually. So as Tony mentioned, storyteller, strategist, coach, but all of that's designed to do 2 things. Help you as people, professionally and personally, to get better. And there's something about that getting better in whatever area of your life it is, mental, spiritual, social, physical, or financial, that actually helps you increase your sales. So my goal in terms of being a storyteller, a strategist, and a coach is to impart some information that I believe will help you get better and will help you increase your sales. So Justin mentioned a little bit about the Pentecostal movement, which we may do some of that in here as well. But I do believe in inspiration followed by instruction. Because some of you, if you're not in a position to receive the word that's coming at you and the opportunities, the experience that's being shared on the stage, if you're not mentally ready to receive it and then, to his point, act on it, then you may leave here, as they say in the old church, you don't want to leave here the same way you came. You want to go changed. So 26 years in the industry, as Tony outlined, started as a Medicare agent. So with those of you that are here now, and this is your first foray into this industry, I can tell you that the view from here 26 years later is fantastic. Never has there been an opportunity in history, in my mind, certainly in my 26 years, that if you're just getting to this industry, you've not missed the party. The music has changed. It's no longer disco. There's a little bit something different being played. But I would want to tell you that in my journey, I've been very fortunate and blessed. And while there's been things I've had to deal with and go through just like any other human being, I wouldn't change or trade anything for my journey. So what I want to do today, and this is the thing I wanted to share as well, success always has a backstory. Even as Justin outlined all the production, actually, I think we just need to form our own super FMO, sell for some crazy multiple, and we all go to the Bahamas. But the reality is there is greatness in this room, but each one of you that have that greatness and that exceptional skill has a backstory. So I'm really lucky that growing up, I had a family, my mom and dad, that really encouraged me in any and everything that I did, told me I could be and do anything. And while some of that was blue sky, it gave me the courage I needed to try things that maybe at that time in my life, I may not have tried. So when you hear someone say they want confidence to be able to be a little more extroverted, to be able to go out and do things with clientele, that comes from a place of history and a backstory. But what I know is with the right nurturing and the right information and the right faith in the next steps, you can move to proceed toward the next stage of your life. So I was lucky again to have a great family that encouraged me. I was very fortunate in high school to marry my high school sweetheart. I just put a post on LinkedIn about 35 years of marriage. Clap for her, please, because, Lord, therein lies one of the single greatest decisions you can make is who you decide to be your helpmeet, your partner, your agreement master, the person that has your back. But then that doesn't mean, especially as you might look at me now, the charmed life that I live, charming, charismatic, good looking, all those things, they would all be true. But the reality is it wasn't easy. So My breakthrough came when I found the success keys that I'm about to share with you. So as we get into this, everybody stand just for a moment, just to get us loose. I know that's one of those, oh, this speaker's going to make us do exercises. No. But I want you to stand because I want a different kind of energy in the room for this next moment. So the address that I'm going to do, again, kind of combining inspirational with instructional, is I am here, but I want to be there. Everybody shout, I am here. Now that sounded good. But imagine for a moment that there was somebody yesterday that was assuming that today they would get to say, I am here. And then woefully and sadly, they woke up or did not wake up to find that opportunity. I tend to spend the first 20 minutes of every day in a mode of gratitude, just simply for the fact that whatever mistakes and things I did wrong the day prior, I am in the midst of a brand new day and can try it again. So under the context of knowing that there are some people that wanted to be here physically in the room, and there were some people that wanted to be here on this side of terra firma and didn't get to do it, everybody with the deepest sense of gratitude you can muster, shout one more time, I am here. I am here. Now, but, everybody say but. But can be a qualifier or a disqualifier. So funny thing, when I met Natalie at age 14, I was really shy. You could imagine me being introverted, but at the same time, I was, sort of in that formative year, the wonder years, that whole thing, a little bit nervous to go speak to her. But I basically got up the nerve, went to speak to her, and she says, I think you're cute and all, but. The but became the disqualifier. It didn't even matter what she said after that, because even with the nicety of you're cute, but, it became a disqualifier. Now, there may be some people in the room now that your current state of affairs is you're not as successful as you want to be, but the but then becomes the qualifier. But I'm going to get better because this conference is going to enlighten me, inspire me, empower me, get me ready to take action. So this is the only time where it's okay to have a big old butt. Some of you remember 1988 EU, the song Doing the Butt. Maybe you don't. I'm a little older than most of you. Tony, you and I are probably in the same generation. But it literally says, so-and-so's got a big old butt. Oh, yeah? Turn to your neighbor and say, you got a big butt. Because if your dream is going to be big, if your dream is big, you're going to have a big old butt. Yeah. So in the context of I am here, but I want. Everybody say I want. Everybody wants something. Your presence here today is an indication that you want something. And maybe it's something that you can't express, that you won't tell, because sometimes we want to shroud in secrecy the goals and dreams we have. And I would admit to you, I need to lose those 10 or 15 pounds. I would admit to you that I still want to be on the New York Times bestseller list. I would admit to you that I want to XYZ, be a single-digit handicap golfer. I would say all those things to you, and all those dreams kind of faded and died. And then I woke up about 2 years ago and said, I still want it. So I am here, but I want. And if you still got a dream in your heart, you're fortunate. Because there's some people right now that have just given up, whether it be the world economies, the world situation, the things that are going on. We need to be sensitive to what happens with outside of our realm. At the same time, we want to be so inundated by it that we stop dreaming and stop wanting. So I am here, but I want to be. It is a state of existence, and I want to be there. So everybody dap your neighbor, shake your neighbor's hand, get them on the weenus. That's weenus, be careful. And say, I'm here, but I want to be there. I'm here, but I want to be there. Let them know that you're ready to make the move to go from here to there. And this is the time, this is the season, this is the event that's going to set that off. So now we need to take another look at who's in the room. So I know Justin worked up those numbers, and I'm going to tell you, those numbers were impressive by way of the production and everything that was outlined. But let's take a little deeper look in this room. And I was very fortunate a few years ago to be at a kickoff event very similar to this. And I'd become a little bit known for telling agents or asking agents, if there's six-figure renewal, and we're going to do that little bit of exercise. So for a moment, I'm going to have you up and down just for a second. Have a seat. If you are if you are a I am final expense agent, raise your hand. I am a final expense agent. You know this is Medicare con, I know. If you are a I am final expense agent, raise your hand. I saw somebody's hand in the back. I love my final expense, porch hopping, door knocking warriors. Oh, he said porch hopping, door knocking. You can't do that with Medicare. Oh, but you can with final expense. But I love final expense agents. Who is a I am a Medicare agent, Medicare Advantage agent? Raise your hand. Who is a I am a Medicare supplement agent? Raise your hand. Who is a I am an ACA agent? Raise your hand. Who is an I am an annuity wealth management agent? Raise their hand. Who is a I am will do it all agent? Raise your hand. All right. So what you see is disparity in the room, but we're all looking for the same types of greatness are there. And so the question I would ask is how many people, we'll do it by hands this time, how many people are generating a six-figure income linear right now? Raise them up. Everybody that isn't, look around, because as Justin said, and I say it everywhere I go, if it can be done, and it is being done, why not me? Stop drinking the haterade, start celebrating the people that are around you. Now, I'm going to ask you to stand if your renewal is six figures. Stand up right now if your renewal that you get like clockwork, money in the mail, is six figures. All right, so in the next one of these, Justin, that amount's going to increase because we're at a point of expansion right now where there is no other time in history of me being in this space, in the senior industry, that there should not be a predominant proportion of six-figure renewal earning agents in this space. But again, for those that are looking at this, understand that if they're doing it, you can too. All right, thank you. Congratulate them on that six-figure run. Now the last one, and I'm going to do it because Justin said share something that you've never openly shared on a stage before. Who's a millionaire? Stand up. I'm standing. A millionaire. Awesome. 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 So who, by one more time standing, who wants to be a millionaire? Stand up if you want to be one. Stand up. It's okay if you don't. It's just money. Okay? So then would it be worth listening to me for another 35-ish minutes, and somebody keep me honest to the clock, for another 35 minutes if I can at least tell you part of my journey and the 5 success keys I used to do what you want, what less than probably 2% of the room has already done? How many people will give me 35 minutes of attention if I can give them those keys? Okay. So then we get going into this thing. Now, I'm going to do it in 2 episodes. I am here. You've already talked to me about being I am here. The reason you are here today is you're trying to learn something that's going to help you get there. You want to learn something that whatever that next iterative step of your life in a progressive, first the blade, then the ear, then the full corn in the ear, then the harvest has come. Some of you are trying to figure out, how do I get out of here quick? Because here is not good. And some of you are saying, here is good, but I still want to be there. So the way we look at it, there is essentially your goal. And again, I believe in 5-fold goals: mental, spiritual, social, physical, and financial. Yes, I think it's Brian Tracy, the SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-bound. All those things apply, but you have a goal that you want. So the question is, how will you hit that target? And I tell agents all the time that 2 things determine if you're going to hit that target, that goal, that dream. Is how good is your weapon and how good is your aim. How good is your weapon? How good is your aim? One more time. How good is your weapon? How good is your aim? Because lightsabers in the hands of cats is just cute. But 5 stones in the hands of a marksman is deadly and lethal. So don't tell me about the tools. I don't have the right CRM. I don't have the right leads. You're not aiming right. It's your skill that's off if the weapon is inferior. You've got to change your mindset that you've got an arsenal at your disposal that will allow you to conquer any part of your life that's giving you a challenge: mental, spiritual, social, physical, financial. It's all bringing it together. Because here's the thing: if your life is not good physically, how good can you be in the field? If your life is not good socially with your relationships, your wife, your spouse, your significant other, how good can you be in the field? I have people all the time that say, I need you to come here and take a look at these agents and diagnose what's wrong. And I always say, prognosis without diagnosis is malpractice. So the first thing I do is I don't go in and start asking them about their sales metrics, their close rate, their closing approaches, their objection handling. What's going on at home? Let's just start right at the heart of where the day begins and work our way forward. So then you have access in this room, and out there in the middle of the hallway are some of the best weapons that you'll ever find. The right products, the right training, the right tools, and then the part you bring to the party is your mind. And if you get all those things to come together in this industry, the right products, the right training, the right tools, the right mind, you will put yourself in a position to reach your goal. If we had all those six-figure renewal giants in the room to come up, they would give you some combination of this is how they got there. And for the millionaires in the room, they would give you a similar outline that they used what was in their midst, in their environment, and they mentally engrafted and accepted a bigger opportunity from it. Aristotle, sum of the parts being greater than the whole. And they ended up making something innovative or something new and unique, and then they ended up catapulting themselves into a higher level of life. So then I like to tell people all the time, your mind is a weapon. Point to your mind and say, my mind is a weapon. Oh, you may not believe it. Your mind is a weapon. Because here's the thing, many people have euthanized it versus weaponizing it. You euthanize your mind, you're dead already. That was a good connected pun right there. Euthanize, dead, never mind. But don't euthanize, weaponize. So then the question becomes, when your mind, when you bring all these things together, if I ask you about your goal, you're there, would you give me a confidence factor? Like, well, Brandon, what's your confidence in that we're going to reach our goal? First of all, confidence in its root word is with faith, with truth. So confidence technically doesn't have gradated percentage-based metrics. I can't be 50% confident. Because if I'm 50% confident, I'm not confident. Confident in and of itself is an extreme that says, I know this is going to happen. So if we check your confidence factor in the things you're trying to do today in your business to grow them to where you can have six-figure renewal, add products to your thing, build out systems, if you don't have a confidence of 100%, you are likely giving half-hearted, self-sabotaging effort, and that's going to end up getting you back on the hamster wheel of saying, oh, that didn't work. Look at this dude. That joker right there, boy. How in the world could she say you're cute butt? If I saw a guy like that coming up to me in 12th grade or 9th grade, I would have jumped all over him. It took her a little while to see that, though. But now look at me, as I'd imagine. I was confident in 1982, and I'm confident in 2022. Yes, some things have changed. And let's make a point of clarification. This is not bald. It's shaved. That's a difference. Bald, no offense to my bald and follically challenged brothers in here, but bald is pathetic. Shaved is sexy, because this is a choice. One day I had that head of hair, and one day I said, oh, it's getting a little thin. Yeah, and it's gone. But the reality I'm giving you is that regardless of your circumstance, your situations, or how you look, or how you've evolved, how you've changed, somebody mentioned even at a stage of maturity and being a little bit older, oh my goodness, at this point, I would actually tell you at age 57, I know I look good for you. You probably thought I was 37 based on all the movements, but the knees are bad. You're seeing it creak up here. But the reality is, I have gotten better with age, but the confidence hasn't waned. Because I now add all that experience of that young, naive, idealistic kid, and I get it against not skepticism and cynicism, but against the realities of life that not everything that Brandon Clay was going to try was going to work. And it doesn't mean confidence in the absolute of naivete or being oblivious. It just meant, man, I failed, that hurt. I got to start over. How do I start over more intelligently, like Henry Ford says? So each one of you has to now check yourself around your confidence level. So how do we build confidence to reach our target? We take drugs. Now hang on. Some of you remember Bradley Cooper, Limitless? And then some of you remember Jeremy Renner in The Bourne Identity, or the second version of The Bourne. I actually prefer the Matt Damon's, but in this case, Jeremy Renner was also born. And in Limitless, he took a drug that actually allowed him to be precise in decision making, concise in his ability to have faith in the steps that he would take, and even be able to clairvoyantly see things before they even happened. But that was due to drugs freeing his mind. But then we've got Jeremy Renner that took the chems and was able to do things super athletically or super mentally with acuity. But when we are doing the things we do right now to serve this population, seniors more specifically, we are taking drugs. So how many people feel good when they make money? Oh, that's right. Go ahead and clap. Making money feels good. Capitalism is good. I won't say greed is good. I know that's old school. But making money sets off a series of things in your neurons and your brain chemically that feels good. Anybody ever find $20 somewhere and you thought it felt like $1 million? Because money, receiving it, making it, triggers. But guess what else triggers the exact same thing in a higher level of intensity? Serving, giving. How many people love when they go into a home and totally revamp and change what's going on in that house? So it's remuneration and gratification coming together. It's altruism, capitalism, not mutually exclusive, not diametrically opposed, but working together to create this Molotov cocktail of drugs, of feel good. So why wouldn't you wake up every day excited to go serve and make money? And as I always say in most of the books I write, as you serve, you deserve. So the people that have the six-figure renewal income, six-figure income at large, are serving more at a higher level, and they're receiving in the law of reciprocity, sowing and reaping, the very thing that they went out to give, which was service. And if you're going to become a millionaire, you're going to have to find a way to scale your service. So then, now that we know why, the real question is how. And we're going to go in a little deeper here in a second. So some of you remember the old train thing. If train A leaves and train B leaves, when do they run into each other? And most of you threw the paper in the air and said, I don't know. The trains probably you shouldn't be on a train anyway. You should be taking the bus or the airplane. But at the end of the day, that equation is so simple. It's speed times time equals distance. Speed times time equals distance. Speed times time equals distance. And then time is ultimate, or effort is your speed. How much effort are you giving to your business? So if I'm going 30 miles an hour, it's going to take me longer to reach my goal. But if I find a way to get to hyperspeed with nitrous and get to 100 miles an hour, I'm going to reach my goal faster. So remember that equation. We're going to go into it a little bit deeper. So when you want to get your goal, you're going to have to move faster. You're going to have to give more effort, energy, knowledge, product, training, tools, your mind. All of those things we weaponized earlier, you now need to, for every element in every area of your life, every single day, endeavor to get 1% better. And to do 1% more. Now, I was fortunate back in the day, and he mentioned Care Improvement Plus. Some of you may or may not even know what that is, but it was one of the first chronic illness plans in the country in 2006. And one of the first dual special needs plans in the country in 1997. And I always taught agents, when you're selling a dual special needs plan, what you go in and tell somebody is, I'm going to give you everything you've got today and a little bit more. I'm going to give you everything you get today. All those zeros you enjoy today for copays, specialists, DME, etc., will be zero. But then I'm going to give you teeth. By the looks of you, you need some. I'm going to give you, in the case of the world today, flex cards. But the point is, with a dual special needs, you give everybody what they expect because they're getting it already. But then you do what? A little bit more. Every interaction, everything you do, every book you read, every certification you take, don't just blindly go through it. Look to see, wait a minute, how can I take all of this information so when I finally get to showtime and I'm sitting there at the kitchen table or I'm doing something virtually, I can give them what they expect and what? A little bit more. Because if I'm getting 1% better and doing 1% more, it is going to add up over time. So if you make that your mantra that every day I'm going to do 1% more, get 1% better, the ability for you to move from level to level to level will accelerate. So it's about doing more. So now you've got all this hodgepodge of 1%, doing more, getting better. And then what happens is three things take over. The first is the domino effect. Some 1% thing you do, or some 1% thing you learn, or some 1% thing that you can take to the next level becomes the domino that pushes down a series of events. You showing up here could actually be the first domino that falls. Because you may network with somebody, get something outside with the carriers and the sponsors that will allow you to motivate yourself and move your business very quickly along a progressive path. The next is the butterfly effect. If a butterfly flaps its wings somewhere across the world, there's a corresponding effect in the atmosphere somewhere else. Some inconsequential motion that you think is inconsequential is actually setting you up for that butterfly effect that may yield something further down the road. And then there's the compound effect, which is really what happens when you bring 2 people, 3 people, 10 people together in a mastermind. It's Mentos and Coca-Cola. It's enriched uranium. It's explosive because it's compound. It takes your 1%, their 1%, and it aggregates to more than 2. So now when you bring all of that together, it gets you, at least in terms of the way the science works, to about a 24% annualized improvement. So if you could get 1% better, do 1% more, do 1 more call than you normally do, get to 1 more appointment than you normally set, eventually close 1 more than you normally close, that compound, butterfly, and domino effect will get you to the next level in your business towards your goal. So now the question is, as you look at this, what is your confidence factor? Even with just what I just did, when you see that red dot, what I want you to now still see is your goal. And then at the next Medicare Con, we would be celebrating you on this stage because you've reached that next level. So now, I'm going to take the last moments of this to give you my 5 keys of success. And there are the things that I used. Some of this is deeply personal, not things I've typically done on stages. But as Justin mentioned, he wanted everybody to do something a little bit different. The first success key is I am. Everybody shout, I am. And absolutely you are. But when you think about I am, there's a little bit of a thing here. There's the brain, which is an organ, the cerebellum, cerebrum, medulla oblongata, and all the neurons and things that make up the neural system. But then there's the mind, which is a state of consciousness, whether it's conscious, subconscious, which you can see, touch, taste, hear, and smell, or it's your subconscious where you can bring imaginings and seeing yourself in the future. I can see myself flying around this room in my subconscious. And then there's the third element, the superconscious, that generates in lightning strikes of ideas. But the I am works in the mind. It works largely in the subconscious. So when you do it, it becomes a present state of being. So if you say, I am broke, and you say that every day, the I am broke becomes your state of being, and yes, a self-fulfilling prophecy that will continue to perpetuate itself, because every time you say I am, it's like the 0 on the VCR, I dated myself, it goes back to 0. So whatever your I am is, whatever you put next to it, is what materializes. So whatever you put behind I am will turn into your future. I am healthy, wealthy, wise. I am excited to get up and go get my day started. I am ready to go run these leads. I am ready to go serve at the highest level. I am ready. I am rich. I am XYZ. Whatever your there is, you have to start declaring it in real time. Now, here's the problem there for some. You have to say so, success key number 2, you have to say so till it's so. You have to say so till it's so. And at the beginning, it will be paradoxical. What I mean there is you will be saying something, I am XYZ, when you're not. And Louis Jordan was a jazz musician in the 40s, and he wrote a song, Is You Is or Is You Ain't My Baby. So when you say, and I'm going to stay with money for a moment, when you say, I am a millionaire, but you look at your bank account and it doesn't reflect it, it's paradoxical. Is you is or is you ain't. In that current state of actuality, factuality, you're not. But you are trying to feed your subconscious a narrative that gets it ready to take the steps needed to put you on your way. The second thing is antithetical. And Justin mentioned a Bible verse, which is also one of my favorites, but this one is calling things that ain't as though they is. And I'm Southern, so the ain'ts and the is's are just in this thing. But you have to, when you're doing your affirmations, as they're called, have to call things that ain't as though they is. And then thirdly, you have to be pathological. And everybody's heard the term pathological liar. It just means they believe it because they've rehearsed it and I am'd it so much that it has become their reality. And boy, I know this all sounds kind of off into the ether, but the reality is both biblically and otherwise. But that last one is Michael Jackson and Billie Jean. He literally says, be careful what you do, because a lie becomes the truth. Hey! I just decided I'd do that spontaneously. Yeah. But you've got to be careful what you're saying. Because what you're saying is just a reflection of what you're thinking. And then that's going to impact your actions, your habits, which then impacts your destiny, your outcomes, your income. So you've got to be careful what you do because the lie becomes the truth. And here's where I'll get extremely personal. I went through 3 levels of broke. There was a point early on when I told Natalie I was going to lay gold at her feet, didn't realize it was going to be mud between her toes for the first decade of our marriage. I was nervous and broke. Anybody, if I could tell you what nervous and broke is, you are robbing Peter to pay Paul, but somehow you're making it. Don't raise your hand. I didn't mean for you to raise your hand and identify yourself as somebody robbing Peter to pay Paul. But I was nervous and broke. But then I was scared and broke because Peter ran out of money to take from Paul. And Mary was nowhere to be seen. Peter, Paul, and Mary. Sorry, little joke there. But the third state is when I was numb and broke. I was down to nothing. Foreclosure, bankruptcy, food stamps, kids on Medicaid being born with Peach Care for Kids in Atlanta. The first of the ACAs, we had a limited income, but it wasn't enough to qualify for full Medicaid. But then we used the system to have kids. And so we were down to nothing. But my dad had showed me some books when I was a young man, and he actually told me, you've got to start affirming differently. Your words are not lining up with what you want. You're here, and you keep perpetuating your here by not speaking to the there. And so I created these affirmational cards. Around 1990, actually, as a matter of fact, I created them. And what you see is not smudged ink, it's tears. Because it just didn't look like it was going to happen. So the lie becomes the truth. In 1990, when I started, 1992, it was a lie. In 96, it was a lie. But I actually wrote a book, You Change Now. You can go to Amazon or you can go to brandonnellclay.com. It's there for free. It's just a program, but it's what I used to evolve out of my own muck and mire. And somebody give me a time count here real quick just to make sure I'm on track. Another 5, 10. Tony, I don't know if you might have that, but just give me a signal. But in 2000, it was still a lie. In 2000, what is that? 4, it was still a lie. 2008, it was a lie, but I was still doing this. In 2012, 20 years later, my first million. The question I'd ask each one of you, are you willing to tell yourself the lie until it becomes the truth? Are you willing to call things that ain't as though they is? And are you willing to be a is you is when you ain't? And that's not me being farcical or lying to the world, because those were private moments between me and that woman right there. But I'm going to tell you now, the decade after that, 6 of 10 years, I've made 7 figures or more. A lot more. So when I tell you that that's the formula, if you don't weaponize your mind, you've euthanized it already. So the third one, we're going to get deep here. I think I've got 10 minutes, a quarter till the moment. Can somebody make sure I do not? I got 5? Perfect. Thank you, man. So power of Kager. Albert Einstein says, compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. I'm going to do this real quick. It's not investment advice, but Tesla. Everybody's heard of Tesla, electric cars, wave of the future. Don't be mad, you're ICE, internal combustion engine folks. But Tesla, if you bought it in 2020, it would be worth, at $10,000, it'd be worth $128,000 today. That's 2.5 years. Now, if you were fortunate enough to get Tesla in 2011, $10,000 would be $2 million. Can anybody say compound interest? CAGR, compound annual growth rate. You as a business should be treating yourself like a business. The magic penny, a penny that doubles every day for a day, turns over $5 million in 30. Rule of 72, take 72 divided by the interest rate you receive. That's how long it takes for your money to double. Compound annual growth rate is an annualized rate of return point to point, and you divide it by the time that you have to do it. Your interest determines how fast you move. If you have 6% interest, it takes 12 years to double. If you have 12% interest, it takes 6 years to double. If you have 24% interest, remember that 24, 1% better, 1% more, you would double your money every 3 years. Every person in here should be endeavoring to double their income, their revenue, every 3 years. The compounding of renewals on Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement, being able to do other things in other environments. But the more interested you are in your business, the faster it will grow. Speed times effort. Speed is effort. Effort times time equals your goal, your distance, your dollar. And then here we go, act as if. You got to invest in and build your business. Now, if you're an agent, you have a one product focus, there's a certain, not limitation, but there's a certain amount of growth that you're going to be able to expect. If you're an advisor and you do multiple things or build a referral network, there's another level that you can grow. And then if you build an enterprise, you can do something even faster. So an agent model number 1 is the agent doing everything, which is likely what a lot of you are doing today. And I know I'm going fast. I will get this presentation to Justin so he can get it to you guys. But if you are an agent and you focus on not setting appointments, but running them and closing, and then you bring in assistants and programs and systems to do all that other stuff, can you then accelerate your business to be able to get to the 24% CAGR, double your money every 3 years? So today, if you're at $50,000, you could actually be at a $100,000 renewal in 2 years, and probably even be a millionaire within 7 to 10. So agent model number 3 is where you're saying a Medicare agent advisor, but you refer out to these other things. If you don't want to learn MedSup, if you're a Medicare Advantage agent, you fold your arms and don't want to do it, you can refer that business because you're losing opportunity. Rev share with somebody that has that as a gift or skill. Same thing for annuities, ACA, which is really on the comeback. Now, if you've not looked at ACA in a long time, you need to look again. ACA is the new Medicare. Can I get one amen from somebody that's doing it? Hallelujah. ACA is the new Medicare. All right, so Tony, I got 2 more moments here. And then if you're an enterprise, you're going to build the systems and do all the things that agents will then pipe into, tap into. You might traditionally know that as an agency, MGA, FMO. So then 5 is you've got to serve. And as I said earlier, as you serve, you deserve. You should be somewhere, you should be a blessing looking for somewhere to go, to answer a problem, to meet a need, to fulfill a goal, because that is going to be the fastest way for you to get where you're trying to go. You could be serving agents and serve them well, and then they become your army that goes out and serves at a higher level. If you are an agent, if you're serving at a higher level, then more will happen for you. So if you can get your I am, say so till it's so, compound your growth rate, and act as if, build your business as if it were a 7-figure business, or if you're already a 6-figure renewal earner, you have to set the intention with the end in mind. And then service is going to open the door for exponential growth. So the last thing I'll do here, and then we'll adjourn from me here this moment, is does anybody remember this? Horton Hears a Who? And it was this little speck, this little infinitesimal speck, and it had people on it that the people out in the general environment didn't know they were there. And in order for them not to put Horton in boiling oil, the speck community had to start screaming, "We are here. We are here. We are here." And it was a crescendo that got louder and louder and louder until the people outside heard it. And it was something Justin said too, but I had actually got another scripture in my mind. It says that when your vision speaks, it will be loud and clear. Some people are passing you over right now, looking through you right now. And nothing wrong with that for a season you might be in, but you can't be deterred or deferred because people around you are not validating. But I always like to tell people, you are here and you are more than enough to be there. My name is Brandon Clay. I appreciate each one of you.
It's time to grow your agency like a guru. Introducing Go Guru Pro. The Go High Level platform allows for minimizing software-based subscriptions and grants control over several facets of marketing and communication. Automate your workflow, communicate with your leads, book appointments in advance, and house all your clients in one secure location. Visit goguru.pro and schedule your one-on-one demo today.